Welcome, welcome. Hopefully this works. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but something's trying to keep me off a line. Let me post this in my community. And we'll get this back up. Get this back up. Okay, so here we go. I'm posting this in my community. It goes live tomorrow, and I'll start talking about that after we're out of beta. We got to launch. I don't know what's going on, but I'll tell you what. Something is trying to keep me offline. Something is trying to keep me from being present today and yesterday, really. I've been going through a lot the past 2 days, as I'm sure you have. We're going to transition this into, I've got a download. And okay, so this, pardon the stripe through the book. It doesn't have that when you get it. This is my latest book, which is called The Conscious Universe, Cosmic Messages, Unlocking Your Supernatural Self. And this is the first copy I got. I did a little editing and got that going on. So you'll be able to get that on Amazon if you haven't done so already. So there's a link in the description below if you'd like to get that book. And the interesting thing that I've been going through, and you can see, okay, so let me paste this real quick before I run out of breath. I don't know what's happened. I feel like that there's been a lot of solar energy coming in, a lot of other energies coming in. And the download that I've been getting, I've been really training, pulling in downloads, working on how to implement those downloads into actual workable, repeatable processes. But the download that came in for me was empower and companionship. And I don't know if you all have felt, I mean, think of this. And just to let everybody know, my community is going to go live tomorrow. It's soc.live, and I'll put that in. That's June 1st tomorrow. Crazy how time's flying. And we're going to try to build something because I'm not going to rain negativity at all. But anyone that knows astrology, anyone that knows where the world is at right now, whether it's UFOs or uncharted history. I spoke with a client today that is behind and a huge part of ChatGPT and AI development and what's going on. We're going to need a community more than ever. Because my feeling is, as people get replaced in the 3D world by a non-dimensional intelligence, there's going to be a wave of depression. And I got that message from Dorian when I was doing the work with my future self in this book. And I felt like that the theme of what I had today coming off of this conversation with this client of mine, empowerment through companionship. And that's why I felt really drawn to build a community. It's going to be imperative for the collective and for our consciousness. And for us to continue supporting each other in a place where we feel that people are real. And what he was sharing with me, we're going to get to a place very soon where even when you see a video on Instagram of a dog barking and doing something funny, and it looks so realistic, it may not even be real. So we're going to need... Oh, you love it. She's reading the book. Thank you, Evangeline. The thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be building rapport, and we're going to be building connection. And companionship being the message that I pulled away from this gentleman today. And from my download, because I sat and I counted down for 40 seconds, kind of like the Silva method. And I went down, I counted down for 40. I dropped into alpha state. And the message came in as self-discovery through the others that are around me. You know, like how they say walk a mile in someone else's shoes, or put the shoe on the other foot, or do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But I started to really see that not only that, but how can we discover parts of ourselves when we see other people? Because I'll tell you, to be quite honest, after what I went through yesterday with my medical tests and the cost of not having health insurance, I was frustrated and stressed, but I saw this man on the way out from the clinic, and he was homeless, and a fear of mine overwhelmed me of ending up homeless. And I know I won't, right? Because it's not in my design, and I have been homeless in the past. So it triggered a repressed fear, but also future fears. And then I sat back today and I thought, well, that homeless man had something to teach me through self-discovery, that there's an aspect there that I was still afraid of. And so I was able to work with that, where that emotion was stuck in my body. You know, and here's the funny thing. That emotion was actually stuck on my right hip, in my right side. Like when you stand with your hands on your hip, a lot of times I would stand with my hand on my right hip when I would talk to strangers or when I'd be in an unfamiliar place. Kind of like a gunslinger that might pull the gun from the hip, right? Shoot from the hip. And it was associated. That's where I stored that fear of being homeless. So I worked with that after I got done working today. And I found that it really released something, because I was able to discover an aspect of myself from other people, or from another presence, another person, that really directed me into a newfound awareness of myself. So that is the place: empowerment through companionship and self-discovery through the eyes of others. And it's a real inclusive message. And I feel if we're able to do this, and I'm going to give you so in this book, in my discoveries with Dorian, one of the things that Dorian shared with me, and it's the door to Ryan, it's my higher self from the future, has been downloading to me. I can't explain it, but it's a frequency. If you read the book, you'll figure it out. My interpretation of a pole shift on the planet is because of the polarities, or the extremes of separation between the sentient forms of life on the planet. And the more that we separate, the more that we move away from each other, no matter the reason or the ideal or the ideology or whatever it may be, the less inclusive we are, the less unified we are, the more we push energy to each extreme of the planet, which tips it. Because as above, so below, we are connected intimately and intricately to the planet, its movements and energy and the universal laws. So it's imperative. I don't want to go through a pole shift. I don't know about you. So it's imperative for the survival of the planet. And we can avoid, so it's called the Great Reset. We can avoid the Great Reset by having the Great Revival. And I'm not saying a revival as a religious term. I'm saying a revival as of reviving empowerment through companionship and self-discovery through the eyes of others, rising to the place where we can begin to see even the least of these as the best of these, and where we can begin to implement doing unto the others as we would do unto ourselves, where our purpose doesn't just become idealistic or ideological of our own ego, which is fine. We all have a little ego, and that's okay. I mean, that's just part of the game. But if we can put other people alongside of what our desire and design is as well, and bring it, like if I brought 5 people up with me and you brought 5 people up with me, and every person that was in the 5 brought 5, do you realize how contagious that would be in just a small collective? How that would change a community, or how that would change a county or a country? And that's how it's going to happen. And that's what this empowerment through companionship is about. And so the community that I'm creating co-creating with some amazing people, and many of you are helping. What we're doing, what we're collaborating for, is a conscious awakening within a small group that spreads. We want it to go viral, right? So that's what we're doing. And it's going to give everyone a space to feel value and a place where we can have high value conversations where small talk is not just designed to sedate or to suppress or to distract. There's no such thing as small talk anymore when you're in a community like that. There's no such thing as slinging he said, she said, right? It's you go straight to the source, you address it, you speak from truth and heart, you receive in truth and heart, take some space, process it, and come back, and then you move forward. So we're going to that awareness in conversation and in companionship, and that's the message moving forward for the rest of this year, really. And it's going to be what gets us to the other side of whatever it is that we're going to be facing, and we're going to be facing quite a bit. In fact, and just to give you an insight, so I was shared with from my higher source to write 2 books. One is called The Warrior's Code, and then the other was called The Conscious Universe. The concept is as above, so below. This is as above, the conscious universe speaking cosmic messages. The as below is the Warrior's Code. I was going to do the Warrior's Code first. It's already written. It's already completed. But before I could write it, my guide downloaded the entire book here to me and how it should come forward, because he said we need something to look up to. We need something to look forward to. Then if we can get a little spark of something that's magical, we'll be able to make it happen. We'll be able to do mind over matter. But that's why it's called mind over matter, because if we matter over mind is illogical, and that is going to create a hot mess. So mind over matter, as above, before as below. So when you work from the top down in the idea of understanding information, when your brain and your mind and your spirit create, and then you bring it forward with your hands and your 3-dimensional body, this is a beautiful flow state. And so that's how I released the book. And so this is actually book 3 to me, but it was changed by my guide that helped me co-write this. It was changed. So this is now book 2. Book 3 is coming out later after we get this done and we go forward with that, because he said this was more important. So there you go. We're going to break down the energy with some cards. I want to just see where we're at. So this is where we're coming from. We're coming from 4 of Cups, which is quite an interesting place. And you can see this card. The 4 of Cups, let's not look at it as money. Let's just look at this card first and foremost. As you can see, the man's got red. That red's crossed. So there's a hesitancy to accept new information, like new loves, new companionships. There's a hesitancy to accept people because we've been pushed so far. And we believe we have everything we need right here, right? So 4 of Cups, in a sense, we believe that we have everything that we need. You've got everything you want. But then suddenly here it comes in this new version of love. And your root is your root family, friends, and all the things you created your life with. They're like, yeah, I don't need that. But then God says, hey, man, I want to approach you right now. And that's why it's on the right side of this man, because he's in the receiving mode. So this is the spirit coming in and saying, I know you got what you need. I know you've got all the people that you think you need in your life, but I'm going to bring you one more. I'm going to bring you a better job. I'm going to bring you that love of your life. I'm going to bring you somebody to assist you. I'm going to bring you that friend that you've been waiting for. I'm going to bring you that tribe. And this is where we're coming from. And the position of this is very interesting, because he's got green and he's got red. So we know that he's guarding his heart with what he already has. And so many of us do that, right? We guard our heart, believing that we have enough, or that we don't need any more, or we think we're dealing with difficult things. Maybe we're dealing with difficult families, difficult situations, or difficult jobs. So we close off our heart to hold on to what we have, even though what we're holding on to may not fulfill us, may not feel complete. And we're still unconsciously or in a fantasy waiting for more, waiting for that extra, waiting for that that next level of love, next level of life, next level of commitment, next level of friendship. And it's coming in. And this is what that means. That's where that's coming from. And then so when I look at this, and then I'm like, oh, shit. This is coming from, so the present, what does that do? Where does that pull us? It pulls us into the Lover's card. And the lovers are, that's our Archangel Raphael, right? So we've got a lot of healing happening there. A lot of healing between the masculine and the feminine. And I will tell you, we've been here before. So don't be surprised if your dreams start changing and everything starts awakening within you. We have been here before, everybody. And so my client today, he's been one of the pioneers in AI. Not like ALLENE, but in the programming part. They ran the Bible through AI, a detector, to see how much of the Bible was written by humans. I'm scared to tell you what they found out. But let's just say something is not resonating with 100%. 80% of what they ran through came back as AI, artificial. That's confusing. But I will say that that could also mean that there's a less emotion in some of these books. But I told him, I go, run the Bhagavad Gita through it and tell me what you find out. And he goes, I will, I'll do it. So what we're finding out is that we haven't been told a lot of things from history. And this is going to come forward, whether it's with UAPs or whatever it is. So this is a healing position. That's why the pyramid's back there. So we're healing history by finding out that it was not correct. The history that we've been told was told on purpose and was not told with complete honesty. We were only told on a need-to-know basis. So this reaching out, this spirit coming in and assisting us with new information, new people, new jobs, etc., is going to meet and marry this situation. We're going to be healing the feminine and the masculine. I don't like to say the word divine because we don't need to separate to divinity from where we're at. Why do we keep saying, why do we need to separate masculine and feminine from divine? Isn't it divine no matter what? Aren't you divine no matter what? You are divine. You're a divine creation no matter what. No matter what religion you believe in, no matter what God you serve, no matter where you are in that course, it doesn't change the fact that you're an immortal, eternal, indestructible, infinite being. I've died twice, and I can tell you, 100% in my mind, I know this. I don't believe in God. I know God. I don't believe that there's life after death. I know it. Does it make it easier to die? Oh, hell no. When I was on that table last July and my heart was starting and stopping and I was only beating like anywhere from 6 to 12 beats a minute and I see the crash cart sitting next to me ready to go. Oh no, even though I know what's there, I don't want to go. I could not give up this world. They'll have to take me kicking and screaming from this world because of the beauty that we have access to, because of the love that we have access to, because of the sheer sounds and colors and textures and tastes. My senses are alive here. So we're healing everything about who we are within and without, as above, so below. So we're healing the masculine and feminine in the world. This is the polarity. If we can fix this, not even fix it, if we can face it and if we can figure it out, it's not about fixing it. It's just about acknowledging it and figuring out and really being present in it. There will not be a pole shift. No pole shift. Nothing negative. AI will not take over because AI is not aligned with that future. It'll be there, but it will be operating in a different way. And to give you a context of what this means about hidden history, so we know supposedly in the story, Eve ate the apple, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. How many of you are on an apple right now? Do you think that's a coincidence? Do you think that Steve Jobs just decided to name Apple Apple because he met some god or some guru in a cave? Or do you think we're in a loop? We're in a spiral, right? It starts here and keeps going up and up and up. And the irony is that's how even our solar system travels through space, kind of in a spiral. So if we are where we were at the inception of that, we're at the beginning of an era. We're at the beginning. We're switching. And we have an opportunity to heal the world, past, present, and future. Right here. We have a great opportunity to heal that. And what happens when we do? The future says that we can go into the star. We're going to become the stars. We're going to be able to fill up that well with everything that we've learned. We're going to be able to tap into unbeknownst wealth. We're going to be able to find such a beautiful, thank you, Kevin. We're going to be able to find such a beautiful a space where we look to space to see them. I often find myself looking at the stars a lot like I look at the ocean, because it gives me this immense appreciation of infinity. Imagine if you looked at yourself in the mirror the same way you look at the stars. Think about that for a second. Imagine for one moment if you were able to look in the mirror at yourself the way you see the sunset. Because do you know that looking at yourself in the mirror, you are more intricate than a sunset and more powerful? You have more atomic energy in your cells than the sun per capita. Isn't that insane? But we don't look at ourselves the same way. I think that if we can get a little bit more of that awe in everything that we do, if you could look at even a homeless person and see, man, that is the stars right there. That's Saturn. That's a comet. That's a sunset. If we had that level of appreciation and interaction for everybody and everything, including ourselves, I think we would be the most amazing, unstoppable force for good that could ever have engaged in any galaxy. And I believe in this incarnation, that's where we're headed, because we're in the 7th cycle. This is the 7th level of civilization. And we're at the precipice. We're at a dawn. We're breaking out of the expected reality, which would be the crown chakra. We're in the crown, the corona, ironically, right? Coronavirus. So we're in the crown. And we're breaking through the crown chakra in this incarnation, in this civilization, in this next turn of the wheel, cresting out of that Kali Yuga, and we're going into the soul star chakra. We're going into the next stage. And that is the golden age. Even more than any other age, because what happens is the golden age that we're going into will ultimately, I don't know how long it'll take, we'll look at someone and see a sunset. We will look at somebody and see the Big Dipper. Now, doesn't that feel fantastic? And that's what this is outcoming. That's a place when you can recognize that somebody is a sunset or a sunrise, or imagine this: when you refer to yourself and you're like, "I'm a Scorpio." What if you're the constellation Scorpio? Bump it up a notch. See yourself as a constellation. See yourself. Why are you settling for such a little portion of God when you are God incarnate? Empowering. That's the message for today. Now, I want to see what we're working with as a collective. What chakra? We're working with our crown chakra, ironically, of course. Which wolf are you going to feed? Right? Which way are you going to go? Instinct. Now, instinct is an interesting thing. Instinct parallels the moon because instinct is a reflection of ages past. Instinct is not something that is dead and gone. Instinct is very active, it's very alive, and it's something we can tap into. The interesting part of instinct is, though, that we want to transition instinct into intuition. So you can take everything about your primal instincts, the primordial self, and you tap into the energy of that and release that. Even when you do your mantras, when you say, I release instinct, or I convert my instinct into intuition. Every part of my body and my cells that resonate with survival, I engage those in spiritual expansion. I want to take all that stuff that's assigned for instinct and add that into my intuition and my divine discernment, my ability to see the future, my ability to be present in such a way that I can actually, my instinct becomes a way to portal into a few seconds or a few minutes into the future, so that I move out of the way and I didn't even know something was coming. And that's also where we're headed to this outcome. Now, looking at that, let's look into, so what is the greatest fear that we have as a society, as a collective right now? If this is the information coming in, let's see what it is. Failure. Okay. Heart and root. Failure coming from the family, coming from the heart. So it says, I understand that a mistake is only an opportunity to learn. So our greatest fear would be failure, that we might fail, or that somebody may fail, or that everything is going to fall apart. So this fear that everything is finite, that everything dies. So this is where we really have to work on our ability to transcend the aspect of death and that primordial fear of death. Doesn't, like I said, I face death, doesn't mean I want to go back, doesn't mean I want to do anything that's in anywhere down the road of that dark window. I don't want to go to that space. I don't want to, I'm good. I like life. I love life. So what, and where do I find the answers to empower myself? By blending my roots, family, friends, where I stay, what I do, what I eat, the roots, eat, see, say, do, listen to, my senses, my choices. When I make those choices from the heart, I will overpower any fear of failure. I will I will not misunderstand information coming in. I will allow people grace. It doesn't mean I'm going to be a pushover. It doesn't mean that I'm going to let somebody slap me, but it does give you the insight into why Yeshua said to turn the other cheek. Turning the other cheek doesn't make you weak if you do it in a way where you're coming from strength, right? Be firm in your standing. Don't demand respect. Don't demand this or that. Command. Command. C-O-M. Calm. Communicate. Command. D is to down, right? Like to downgrade. A demand is a downgrade. A command is an upgrade because you're communicating intention. Demanding means that you're trying to compensate because you don't have enough intention, but you feel like that's what you wanted. So desire is actually a little bit less than if we were just to move into like really just creating. So you could desire something or you can create it. You can desire and there's a lot of things that go with this. So to move through failure or anything that you would view as an obstacle, to open the heart and to allow your root chakra to support you. Allow your genetics to say, okay, so I'm not surviving a saber-toothed tiger. I'm not scared right now. I'm in more comfort than I've ever been. It shouldn't be hard to convince my inner self that I can transition that excess energy to intuition. And what will be the benefit of this flow? You see, we get confirmation. She's pouring water back in. The flow, right? And the flow comes from freeing our voice and our imagination so that we can push through the mind. Now, the mind is only logic. So the mind is the middleman in this flow. The one thing that the mind does in a logical landscape is give us plans and security and helps us to kind of build a timeline. But that can also present expectations and it can slow you down, because even like in the Silva method, if I want to manifest and create a good job or a soulmate or a new tribe, if I put a time limit on it or if I tie it to a particular path only, I stop it. I stop the flow. But if I know that if I envision what I want and and I want this. I want to be in this space. I want to find a community because this is how I'm going to feel. That community, I feel embodied. I feel embraced. I feel empowered with my community. All the people that are in my community right now, I feel empowered, embraced, and I feel alive, and I feel it's an intimate connection. I feel that it's exciting, it's empowering, it's structuring, it's structured, it's instructing. And then, so it's building itself, right? It's coming together, and I had no idea how it would. I didn't plan it out. It just popped into being because I'm allowing the flow. So it says, the glory of this universe flows through me. Again, when you can look in the mirror and see yourself as the solar system, when you can look in the mirror and see yourself as a hummingbird, and this is why we have a totem spirit animal. So you can envision yourself, so you can take the imagination and your voice, which is inner or outer, inside voice or the outside voice, and you can breach the crown chakra, which caps you off from God, and go into the soul star chakra and tap into your higher self, like me writing the book, The Conscious Universe. Completely, I busted out of the eighth sphere, Rudolf Steiner says. I busted out, contacted, and created a conduit to a frequency that I call my friend that is myself in the future. So I know it works out. I know we make it. I know we make it. I don't believe, I know. Okay? Now we want to get, if all of this is coming through, what does that look like? Where does that come from, and what will that advance? What will that bring us in the case? Right? Let's look and see. Are you ready? This is what it's going to bring us. So let's put this out there. Beginnings. So once we embody this, once we do this, it's going to bring us to a place of beginnings. And if we are beginning again every day in every way, like today is your first date with your husband. Today is your first date. It's interesting. What if you said, I do every day? Not just on one day that you got married. What if every day, how can I get an astrological chart? Hang on. I will put this in. This is how you can get an astrological chart. Let me show you. Hang tight. Right there. Right there is how you can get an astrological chart. But every day is a new day. Every moment with your person is fresh and new. And how does this help you? Okay, so for those of you that have followed me about twin flames, if you never got the energy to connect with that situation, did you ever wonder that maybe because you were connecting, you were full force, you're in something, but you're not seeing the growth within yourself, so it's still an image of you connecting to an image of them, and neither of those exist. So we have to constantly begin again every day. That's why when we go to sleep, we die. When we wake up, we rise again. It's metaphoric in some ways, but it's actually also real. Okay? Because when you go to sleep, you are no longer your body's keeper. You die. You leave. Your soul leaves. And when you wake up, your soul returns to the body and prays that everything is still the same. You feel me? I mean, I've died twice. I'm telling you. So beginnings. I will cherish all the cycles in my life. And this is going to be an intense, beautiful space for all of us if we can begin again every time. Imagine that if you had the ability to begin again when somebody pissed you off. Or if you misunderstood somebody and you get in a conversation and it starts to go a little bit off the rails. And you're like, hey, can we start this over? There's nothing wrong with saying, can we start this over, right? Nothing wrong at all. So, everybody, I'm going to put the community in here. And keep in mind, it's not live until tomorrow. That's the community. You can go and check it out. And then you can find my book on Amazon. The links are in the body of this video. And stay tuned every Tuesday. I apologize, today's Wednesday, so we're a day behind, but some stuff happened with me going to the doctor yesterday. So keep in mind where we're headed. And let this reading and this energy update not only bring you clarity, but offer you insight to what you really needed to hear, what you wanted to hear. And again, go look in the mirror and close your eyes and envision yourself as a sunset. Fall in love with yourself like you fall in love with the sky at night. Witness your hands or your face like that flower that you just smelled in the park. Don't downgrade yourself. Celebrate what's inside of you, because it's real and it's connected, okay? Everybody, peace, light, and love, and I will see you all very soon. And we're going to be doing this community, and it's going to be fantastic. We're going to have a lot of different offerings. And I also have my Twin Flame book that's getting ready to come out as well. We're going to be guiding you through that process if you're still in that space, helping you find the energy that's necessary to activate that experience after I've spoken to over 1,000 people that have went through it. So we definitely know it's tried and true. And then we're going to be up-leveling. Also, check out my podcast. That's in the links below. And we're going to be up-leveling 100%. We're not going to roll over. We're not going to fall into the hole. Does anybody ever remember Wayne Dyer's story? I got up, I was going to work, I walked out, I went down the sidewalk, and I fell in a hole. He's like, what the heck? So I did everything, and I climbed out and went to work. I got up the next day, I was walking, I was on my way to work, in the same sidewalk, and I almost fell in that hole, so I scooted around it, went to work. I got up the next day, I was walking down that same sidewalk, and I said, wait, that hole's there. I'm just going to go around, I'm going to go the other way. So we're going to give ourselves the clarity that it takes to awaken the collective, to reorchestrate our relationship with the algorithms, to educate ourselves so that we can employ tactics and gifts to go deeper and to expand our love and our compassion in a safe way to help to see other people and help them see themselves. Like Jerry Maguire says, help me help you. And that's what we're going to do. Help me to help you. Everybody, thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. And anybody watching this at any time, please share this. Please hit the thumbs up. I'm going to thumbs up myself right now. Boom, thumbs up. And I'm going to leave a comment down below myself as soon as this is ready. And please leave a comment. That's how we get this out there. And share this on your Facebook or your social media. And feel free to take clips of this and post on your Instagram. You have my approval 100%. Let's get the message out. Peace, light, and love. And I will see you all very soon. I'm going to be recording my podcast tomorrow, and that'll be up tomorrow afternoon on the School of Consciousness on iTunes and Spotify.